It's been really interesting to watch, hasn't it? Actually, especially that kind of move into online stuff and things digital. Indonesia is leading the way in Southeast Asia in many respects. We have lots of discussions with people, particularly expats, that don't believe us, but we often say that, and the people we talk to often will agree with that it's the potential that Indonesia has, such a young country, dynamic, full of natural resources. It's enormous. It's enormous potential.
I think also one thing that we talk about with investment roadmaps and now with the Omnibus and the entrepreneurship, the Indonesian people are known to be very, very creative and very artistic, and finding ways out of difficult situations and so on. I think that this legal system and this Omnibus Law creates an allowance for that to happen. They were under more or less a dictatorship for a very long time, and before that it was what they called a guided democracy. So there's never really been a
room to breathe.
Yeah, room to breathe and to sort of take the steps up. And I think you'll see that massively. At the same time, you have two things. A lot of Indonesians that have been educated abroad, they've gone to school in Western countries or Singapore or Malaysia and so on, and got different impressions that they take back. But then also, like Andy says, with the technology and online access to education and information, the whole mindset is changing dramatically and really, really, really quickly. And I think one of the things that surprises me, and it might be a sign that I'm getting a bit old and slow, but it's the speed of it. It's like it's difficult to keep up with it. And I think that's the signal and the warning that we throw out to the expat community. If you don't shape up and get in line with this in terms of how business are done and implemented, you're out of business. And I think now again with COVID-19, which is on everybody's mind and lips these days, that actually will speed this further up too, because you have to do these things. You have to be automated. You have to be structured in a totally different way and have a totally different mindset. And you can already see that in the whole community, that those that embraces this and take the step forward and up, they do well, and those that don't, they will unfortunately go out of business. But that's just how it is.
That's also what I was just going to ask about, if the COVID-19 has actually sped up this process, because people are realizing, more and more remote work is happening, and people have to kind of be able to mobilize themselves outside of.
I think yes, it's definitely speeding it up.
I think the government, in terms of politeness more than anything, sort of said, "Oh, we'll discuss this when the time is right," because the COVID came along, and in that way it's been slowed down maybe from a government aspect. But I think like Andy's saying, that it's actually made people realize that we and they might not even know that they're actually embracing what's coming with the Omnibus Law, but they realize that they have to work together in a different way, much more into being set up technology the right way, cooperations, so I think that it'll actually help to speed up the momentum, and people will be prepared in a much better way to embrace this when it now, hopefully by August, maybe latest September, this will come into act.
They haven't written it into law yet, have they?
They have apparently. I think the latest news articles, they've gone through most of it at the DPR or the National Assembly level, and they were probably a bit optimistic, saying that they would complete this in July, but it looks more like towards the end of August this will come into play and be ratified.
And once it's ratified and it becomes law, what's the time frame do you see for the implementation of it? It's not going to be immediate, is it?
I think in the past Indonesia has been known to pass laws and it takes a very long time before it's implemented. But I think it's almost immediately, that it'll come into effect. And there's technical aspects and socialization aspects and so on that needs to come along with it. But I think it's more or less immediate that it comes into play.